Hey guys, DMV SoloRider back with another video, or maybe one of my rare midweek videos. Where am I going? Let's turn around. This past Friday I just uploaded my Challenger review. Hopefully you guys have had a chance to check it out and find it valuable. And I wanted to film this because I have some further thoughts that I think it's appropriate I share with you on the Challenger's ride command. This is, as you know, Indian's ride command 2.0. It's a new piece of hardware with updated software and Apple's CarPlay. And, you know, at the end of my review, I mentioned, you know, it was fine. I had what I needed from it. Notwithstanding the fact that I can't put my phone in the Challenger's glove box without the camera breaking, and that I had to buy that $100 wireless dongle to have wireless CarPlay so I could keep my phone in my jacket pocket. You know, once I finished filming my review and finished editing it and uploaded it to YouTube, you know, several weeks before it actually got published, I've had some further experiences, and I am not gonna lie, really pissed off. I mean, those of you who've been watching my channel for a while, you know that ride command with CarPlay is a big deal to me. It is an important reason why I traded in my 2019 Chieftain for the Challenger. So the fact that the Challenger broke my camera on my phone 3 times, which is important because, you know, you want to take pictures of your pretty red motorcycle wherever you happen to be. And if your camera's broken, kind of nips that in the bud, especially when you're on a 3,500 mile road trip to Key West, or you're riding Tail of the Dragon, whatever. You want your phone camera to work well. So that really upset me. But I found a solution and it was fine. The wireless dongle was working well. Now it's not. The issue is that, you know, let me take a step back. On my 2019 Chieftain, which did not have CarPlay, you would still plug your phone in and listen to your music through ride command. You know, navigate the menus or whatever, select your music. And I had a lot of trouble with it. Frequently, the connection between ride command and the phone would be interrupted somehow, and you would lose access to your music. Sometimes ride command would reconnect on its own, sometimes it wouldn't. Frequently, you would basically have to stop the bike, shut everything off, disconnect it, then reconnect it to get ride command to work properly. And it was a pretty persistent issue on the Chieftain. When I brought it to the attention of an Indian service guy, I was told, oh, it's the cord. You need to find a cord that locks into place. It's coming unplugged. Now, every time this happened, the first thing to do is you check the connection to the USB port in the glove box. And every single time, it was firmly plugged in. You couldn't push it in any further. It wasn't disconnected. So yeah, so, you know, they always tell you, oh, it's the cord. Cord's coming loose. They don't make a lightning cord that locks into place. So there was no other cords to buy. I tried all different kinds of cords, different lengths, 90-degree angle plug-ins, whatever. Never made a damn bit of difference. And then I ended up trading it in on the Challenger. And for, you know, the first 4 months I had the bike, had no issues. Then I experienced the camera breaking, went wireless. And for the, you know, the first couple thousand miles riding with the wireless dongle, no issues. Until the past, you know, several weeks, where every time I ride the bike, not right now of course, but every time I ride the bike, the wireless dongle disconnects in the same exact way my phone used to disconnect from ride command on the Chieftain. You don't have to hit a big bump. You don't have to hit much in the way of, you know, turbulence in the road. In fact, half the time you don't sense any of that, and it'll just turn off. And then the wireless dongle will eventually go back through the sync, you know, connected to Wi-Fi on the phone, and it'll come back on and then wink off again, and it'll do this 3 or 4 times, and eventually it gives up, and you basically would have to stop the bike, turn everything off, turn it all back on, only to have it disconnect yet again the next go through. Oh, look, CarPlay just shut off. That's what I'm talking about. We didn't hit a bump. There's nothing wrong with this road. It's perfectly smooth. It just disconnected. Thank you, Indian. Well done. That's my map. And if it doesn't reconnect, I have no idea where I'm going because I was using Waze. And I'm pretty much one of these geographically challenged people. I don't know where anything is unless I'm using GPS at this point in my life. What a pain. Oh, look, see, now it's reconnecting. This is the wireless dongle. If it was just the phone plugged in, you wouldn't see any of that. Now it's back on. We'll see how long it stays on. But of course, when it shuts off like this, you don't get your turn-by-turn instructions. And you have to redo your destination to get... Oh, look, it just shut off again. Look at that. Didn't really hit a bump of any kind. Man, I'm so sick of this, guys. Should never happen. Just should never happen. Man, that just sucks. Well, here it is, coming back on. Oh, it just shut off again. There's nothing wrong with the road. We didn't hit any bumps. It's perfectly smooth. And that's so annoying to me. Really upsetting. And just to be clear, it's not the cord that the wireless dongle plugs into the USB port. The cord is not damaged in any way. This is the same thing that happened with the iPhone and the old Ride Command. This is undoubtedly a defect in Ride Command itself, either hardware, software, or both. I have no doubt in my mind. And, you know, I was so upset the other day, I shot off to Indian's website an email explaining my experience. Talked to them about the phone breaking in the glove box, which should not happen. You know, if you're going to build a bagger with frickin' CarPlay and a charge port so you can connect your phone and you require the phone to be put in the glove box, they should have done their engineering, their R&D to make sure that the vibration in the glove box is not going to destroy the phone. Same thing for Apple. Apple works with these companies to put their software on these bikes. They should be making sure their phone is built in such a way that the kind of vibration you get on a motorcycle isn't going to destroy the phone or the camera or whatever. That's my opinion. But anyways, I sent Indian a long email detailing my experience. And I told them that while I'm no longer plugging my phone into that port, the wireless CarPlay unit, it's the same damn thing. And it's having the same experience. And I got a response from them the same day. They asked me to send them the system log file from Ride Command and the serial number of my Ride Command. So I did that. They told me that this is a known problem, that they expect a software fix to be offered this coming summer to fix it. So it's a known issue. At least the disconnection issue. Set aside the braking camera for a second. But you know, they had me send them my system logs just so they can check it to see if there's anything unique to my situation. Haven't heard back since they got that. But the reason I wanted to film this is it's important to me that I be really clear with you about my experience on the bike. I know there are people who watch my channel who have bought Indian motorcycles because of what I've had to say on my channel. So I don't want anyone to rush out and buy a Challenger because they're all excited about Ride Command, only to find out that Ride Command is trash. And it is trash. Just riding out today, you know, I was at GMU using their big parking lot for some slow speed practice, U-turns, all that jazz. And on the way there, I was having a disconnect issue, and I was also noticing the brightness of my screen was going up and down. You know, it was flickering. And so I went to adjust it manually, and there was a huge delay. You know, you touch the slide bar that increases the brightness, and nothing happens. Then 30 seconds later, it gets brighter, and then it dims, and it just goes back and forth like that. And one other thing I neglected to mention in my review is that the auto dimming feature on Ride Command is junk. It does not work. If you're riding in broad daylight, you have the daytime screen on, you head into a tunnel, the nighttime feature will come on, the screen will get darker, and when you come out of the tunnel, it stays that way. It doesn't flip back to daytime, hardly ever. It's so bad that sometimes you go under an overpass, which is like 2 seconds, and the nighttime screen comes on and won't go away. So basically, my experience with the Challenger's auto dimming feature is you basically gotta use it manually because the auto feature is trash, and that's my understanding is a lot of people do it that way for the same reason. And so I'm just pretty all around unsatisfied with the Ride Command. And for me in particular, it's a big deal because if they never put CarPlay in the Challenger's new Ride Command, the odds of me having traded the Chieftain in for the Challenger are pretty slim. Like I said in my review, it's a superior motorcycle in every quantifiable way, but it wasn't worth, you know, spending a lot more money on a bike to get those benefits. All of those benefits together are what convinced me to get the Challenger. And one of those main benefits is CarPlay and a Ride Command that should work, and it doesn't. And that's just unacceptable. And so I wanted to film this follow-up to make sure you guys know what my latest thoughts are. But I also wanted to tell you guys, because obviously when you have these experiences, you do research, you see what other people are experiencing. And, you know, I've read a zillion comments about Ride Command, the old Ride Command unit, this new Ride Command unit. People have just had nothing but trouble. Kind of the situations that I've had and others. I think there's a gentleman from France who has a Challenger. He's commented on my channel a few times that his Ride Command, the GPS doesn't work at all in France. It's trash. I know from Salty and Sprinkles, his GPS never works. You know, when I use the actual Ride Command GPS as opposed to Waze, I haven't really had any trouble, but other people have. Lots of people have disconnection issues. That's not unique to me. I have not honestly found a lot of people saying that putting their phone in their Challenger glove box has broken it. But, you know, I'm certainly curious to know if this is more of a widespread problem. But, you know, what I wanted to tell you guys is that if you own an Indian bagger, and it doesn't have to be a new one, if you have a 2019 Chieftain, it's still relatively new. If you have a 2018 or 2017, that has the same Ride Command unit as my old 2019 Chieftain has. And you need to complain if it's not working. I can't tell you how frustrating it is to read someone's comments where they say, yeah, my Ride Command never works. I just stopped using it. I put my phone on my handlebars. The whole point of having Ride Command is to not have to do that. And when you spend that kind of money for a bagger, I don't care what you spent, it's an expensive motorcycle, and 99.9% of us aren't riding our motorcycle as our only source of transportation. It's fun. It's supposed to be a great, uplifting experience. If the product isn't working the way it's supposed to, that takes some of the sweetness out of it, and I don't like that. And I don't like reading about people who buy something like this that doesn't work, and they're just like, well, whatever. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that the Challenger's engine and handling is amazing, and the fact that Ride Command is trash doesn't detract from that. But when you buy the bike, at least for me, I'm buying the whole bike. The foundational elements of the motorcycle, which are the engine, the handling, the suspension, the wind management, and Ride Command, should all function totally every time, absent something breaking. Like if it's broken, if there's a manufacturing, like a one-off manufacturing defect, that's totally okay. That happens. But Indian's Ride Command units aren't that. They do not work right. And a lot of people have this experience. If you have an Indian bagger, I don't care what year it is, if it has any Ride Command unit that isn't functioning properly, you need to tell Indian. Go onto their website, write up a long, detailed email, and tell them you're dissatisfied and you want it addressed. And if you have an older Ride Command unit, say a 2018 or a 2019, which, as I understand it, Indian no longer supports. They're not going to be issuing software updates for your devices anymore. Tell them that's unacceptable. Ride Command is a piece of hardware that is essentially, at the heart of it, a software implementation. And there is no justifiable reason for a company making $20,000 and $30,000 motorcycles to, in a 2-year time period, say, we're no longer supporting that. Apple doesn't do that with their phones. Android manufacturers don't do that with their phones. There's no excuse for Indian after a short period of time saying, oh, we're done with that. No, that's not how it works in 2021. And I'm no damn communist, let me tell you that. So yeah, my advice to all of you, stop buying 75,000 different cords, because it's not your cords. It is Ride Command, the hardware and or the software. Well, we know it's the software because they admitted it already. But I'm sure there's some hardware issues too. And all I can tell you is you guys need to write a detailed email to Indian, tell them what your issue is and that you need it fixed. And on top of that, you should bring it up with your dealer as well. Go on to both angles, because that's what I do. I can tell you, I got to take the Challenger back into Chesapeake Cycles to get another belt adjustment, because the last time I was in, they adjusted the belt and they didn't do it right. And you better believe we're going to have a big conversation about Ride Command, because not only do I want them to know, I want them to say something to Indian. God, thank God this engine is amazing. That's all I can tell you. One twist of the throttle and all of a sudden you don't really care about Ride Command. It happens to be working right now also, which helps. No, but really, they need to hear about it from all of us. You know, these are not, $5,000 motorcycles like a starter bike. These are major investments, and I don't care if it's just for fun. When you spend that kind of money on anything, you have a right for it to function as expected all the time. Absent some weird fluky breakage, which is not what's going on here. And I've had discussions like this on various websites, indianmotorcycles.net, and people are like, oh man, that's life, that's the way it is with motorcycles. Bullshit. Like I said, if you're spending 30 grand on a motorcycle, the manufacturer does not get to say it's just a motorcycle. And for Indian in particular, they have to do better than that. They are the small player. And let's be clear, when we talk about Indian, it's not Indian versus Harley. It's Indian versus everybody. Because most people aren't snapping up cruisers these days. They are going to Harley. And if they want a big touring bike, they're going to Honda. We're the small player in the field. So Indian doesn't have the luxury of being cavalier or producing a piece of technology like Ride Command and making it a big part of their marketing for the motorcycles and have it not work well all the time. That's unacceptable, and we as consumers have to hold them to account. It's wonderful that Indian has great marketing and they do stuff like, media days out in Arizona with Blockhead and Brandon Picasso. Good for them. Well, give Brandon Picasso an Indian Challenger for 6 months, let him experience the kind of problems everyone's having with Ride Command, and let's see what he has to say then. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to buy a $30,000 motorcycle and have a foundational element of it not work right, you might as well buy a Harley. Because when it comes to the engine and the handling and the performance, look, I've ridden these bikes. Yeah, the Challenger's better, but it ain't that much better. If the Boombox GTS works like a charm every time you ride your Road Glide, you're not doing 0 to 60 times every time you touch your bike. You're not dragging your floorboards every time you're riding your bike. I'm just pissed. And, I'm a big fan of Indian's motorcycles. I would love a lot more people to buy them. And so it's disheartening to me when something like this is not tended to. And this is now my second expensive Indian motorcycle that has had this issue, and it's not acceptable. Anyways, that's what I wanted to say today. I'm a little hot under the collar because it's just frustrating. And because I just put up my review, and it took 2 months to film it as it is. I was not going back to film yet more to redo the whole thing. And honestly, from the time I uploaded the review until today, it's really been a couple weeks. So, the frequent disconnects are a relatively recent phenomenon, but it just pisses me off. Should not happen. That's pretty much all I had to say. Make sure you send an email to Indian detailing your problems and telling them you want it fixed. I don't care how old your bike is. Complain about it to your dealer in the hopes that your dealer will themselves let an Indian know, hey, we've got a problem. Because the reality is, as much great press as Indian gets, there aren't that many Indian owners out there, guys. And if we all start complaining about what I consider to be inexcusable issues, it'll have an impact. But anyways, I just wanted to give you guys that update. Get it up here as soon as I could. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up. Put my ride and ride related content out every Friday, so hit that subscribe button, click that notification bell, you get an alert when my new video is out. And tomorrow I'm going to go do a great ride along the Chesapeake, kind of south of Annapolis. I'm going to film it. It's a nice twisty road, but there tends to be some traffic down there, so hopefully we'll get some good footage. But anyways, until the next video, you all be safe out there, and I'll see you next week.